to Power Her Success Radio Show. I'm your host, Dr. Anita Jackson, founder and CEO of the Unlimited Woman Alliance. And this show is about helping women around the world, number one, know that they're enough, and from that place, develop the internal, external, mental, emotional, spiritual power to have unlimited success in their personal life and in their business. And I'm bringing amazing, powerful women, feminine women leaders and experts to share their insight, to share their insider secrets, if you will, to helping you develop personal and entrepreneurial mastery for success in every area of your life. And today, this particular broadcast is also being aired in our group, Power Her Success Group. And we would love to have you join us as women are literally coming together, building powerful relationships and experiencing success like never before, particularly during this challenging season that we have in our life as a global pandemic is kind of running through our world. If there's ever a time for us as women to own our power, own our voice, and become an impact and an influence in the world, now is the time to do it. And joining me today on a very powerful conversation is Holly Signorelli. I never say that right. Did I say it correctly? Signorelli?
No, you did. It's all right.
She is a friend of mine and a woman who I know you're going to learn a great deal from. She is a best-selling author with the book Secrets of Wealth, or To Wealth, right? Secrets to Wealth.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have her talk a little bit more about that. She also has a secondary book. She's a CPA to very successful 7- and 8-figure business people. And so today we're going to learn from this expert in regards to what does it mean to build wealth in our life and why, as women, do we need to make this a priority, a non-negotiable, and every part of our life and in our business. So Holly, welcome. I'm so excited you're here.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I love doing this stuff. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so I am a CPA. I run a company, just like you said. And back in the day, like when I was like 14 years old, for some reason, I think it's because my aunt she was an accountant. And then I really started thinking, I'm really good with numbers, and from the time of when I was young, like when I was 5 years old, my dad gave me one of those, I don't know, back in the day, that was so long ago, I don't know what they were called, but anyway, I started doing my pluses and the explanations, the divisions and all of that, and then I sent it to my mom, and she's like, what? And so I've learned now that, a lot of things that you do that you're good at has to come with your family, so that's like the genetics of that, and everybody has something like that, that they're good at. And so I thought, well, I'm probably going to be a CPA because everybody's always going to have a tax return. So and they always say that about, like, what is it, death and tax, and what's the other one? Is it
the guaranteed with life, death, and taxes?
Something like that. Yeah. So I've had my company since 1999. I've worked with thousands of clients, mostly business accounts. Nowadays you can do a personal return pretty simple, but the business ones are kind of they're hard. Most people can't do them since they started the tax reform. Yeah, for sure.
And I would assume that working with the individuals from a business perspective, you've not only learned about why it's essential to create the right kind of system for your business, but you probably have had a great impact or learning experience from understanding the mindset and the behaviors and the tenacity of continually building yourself and your business to create the kind of wealth that the clients that you work with do. And that's not even one of our questions, but I would just assume anything you've learned.
Yeah, it is very different when you're looking with 7- and 8-figure clients because they always have investments. All different kinds of investments. Some of them are from other companies, and some of them are just for financial planning. And they know that they need to keep it in there. So, like, for example, when all of this started here, mostly in March, then a lot of my clients, they were, of course, they might have lost something in their financial planning, but it's already going up already.
Right.
They know that they don't get scared. And then sometimes when I'm working with somebody that's maybe a six-figure, client, and those can be good ones too, is that those people start to get scared. It's a game changer right there. And then they'll start taking stuff out, and they'll be scared of that. And one of the things that people do when that happens is they go out and try to buy something because they're not thinking about the future,
the long term.
Yes. And even with this kind of thing that we're in right now, yes, there's a big problem going on right now, but it seems to me that in May it's going to be changing a lot, because all the governments are going to be looking at the country, the places that they are, and to tell people what to do. But they're telling people now that everybody should be going back to work. Not every single person right now. I guess there's going to be some rules and stuff.
It will be like that. To see what happens. But what I think you said is so powerful is, and I was having this conversation with my girlfriends last night and said, those of us who weren't trained in regards to wealth, or at least building wealth for long term, way in the future. Yeah. We understand how to make money. Most of us understand how to make money. We know how to go to job. We know how to put in our time. But building wealth is a whole nother animal. So with that being said, what is wealth? Because I don't know if a lot of people understand what wealth is.
Wealth is when you feel so good about what you're doing, or whatever kind of company that you have, and what kind of money that that's coming into that. So a lot of people, if they have a really good company, and let's say that they make something like 150,000 or 200,000, a lot of us, and especially for women, they get really worried about these kind of things. Then they start to pull stuff out. Not everybody, okay? Not everybody's not the same.
Right.
But I find that's what I find with clients, like with stuff like that. But to be wealthy is to feel that you can put some money aside and let it grow. And the stock market always goes back up. It always does.
Right. Always every single time.
Yes. And there's only, for my clients, I've only had a couple of clients that started something with not too much money, and then something happens, not really the corona thing, but something else. Maybe it just stopped. Maybe something goes down like 10%, and then they'll say, "Oh, I want to take this out. I can't do this. I can't do this." And this happened to me last year. It was kind of weird because it was a brand new client, so maybe that's why. And then if he had just stayed for like another month, he would have gotten it straight back up. So he actually lost money because he didn't wait.
There's some wisdom here. There's some wisdom that I think nugget that you keep saying throughout the whole thing. And I don't know if you ladies are listening. I'm listening because I'm actually just stepping into the financial world. I told all of you that I'm becoming a financial planner referral. So mostly on the referral side, not necessarily that I want to be in the house and do all that stuff. That's not me. But I understand I'm beginning to really understand the mechanics of it. And so everybody keeps saying the same thing. If you're going to do any kind of investment, do not let fear have more power, and I'm going to say than faith, in knowing that everything always goes back to normal. We're creatures of habit. Life is a creature of habit, believe it or not. There's a psychology to it, right?
Yes. There's definitely a psychology of it, and also with your brain, which is all the same. It's like how you think about things. And so, since your podcast is very spiritual, I'll just go ahead and I have not been telling people this, but I did. Like when this started, I was thinking, okay, like, are my clients going to be still good? Is my company still going to be good? Because of course, everybody still has to do a tax return and stuff. Like that.
Right.
So I was like, what I do for that when that happens for me is I talk to my guides. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just say, what can you do to help me? Because if some of my clients, may not be able to work for a few, like doctors, like the doctors that can, like the people that you would think would still be able to be at work, and they can at some, but just not as much, So
it depends upon the type of
like,
doctor.
yeah, of course, yeah. So I was like, I realized some people probably for like 2 months will not be able to pay me. So what can you do? And instead of me telling them, and back in the day, this would be me because I'm a Scorpio, I would be like, could you do
Really?
this? Can you do this?
That's
Instead, I
another
said,
reason I
what
like you. I'm
can,
Scorpio too.
sweet. There you go. Yeah, right. So all I just ask for them is to, what can you do for me? Because that's what they want.
Yeah.
They know way
Yes.
better than what we do. And so ever since then, I have gotten so many new clients, really good ones, and financial planning ones too.
Yes.
And it's like, and because I just didn't, I let them do it, and it was great. It's been really nice. And I think more people, instead of having fear, should turn to that instead,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, to the
I agree with
answer.
that.
And if you're on here right now and you're not spiritual, that's okay too. But basically, what you do need to do is think about how you're feeling, because women are more about feeling than men,
Right.
right? I
Right.
mean, everybody does both, but a lot of women get their feelings is what are going to happen. Is what's going to happen.
Yes.
So if you're feeling bad and you're scared and everything, and most people have a moment of that. I've had a couple of moments with
Me too.
just looking at, like, I get a really I worry about some of those small businesses, like they need to go back to work, so
Right.
now I'll have a little bit of anxiety of that, even though it's not me, because it's not just about me. It's
Right.
about everybody. It's about
Right.
our country and stuff like that. So sometimes when, that's pretty easy if you just do a meditation and just calm yourself. And, everybody knows this, writing stuff down is really
Yes.
good and making you
Yes.
feel better, and then just kind of slightly go get a little bit better every day, thinking like that. Hey, there's tons of billionaires and millionaires, and there's a reason, because
Right.
they don't have the, they think it's for them, they're
I
like,
think the other thing
they
that
don't
maybe
they overthink it. Yeah.
I think the other thing that may be really powerful about what you're saying is not only should we, get as grounded as we possibly can during this time, journaling, calming our spirit down, calming our brain down, but also getting counsel. And you've said this throughout the conversation so far, that there's something very powerful about planning. So as a CPA, working
Yeah.
with your clients and working with financial planners, could you talk from your perspective how necessary it is for us as women? Because what I have noticed as a psychologist and as a coach and as a therapist, and even in my own personal life, I think everybody's told, I've been very transparent and said, I realized I made a huge mistake by not planning when I was making really good money. And now I'm having to step back and kind of reassess everything and relaunch, if you will, in a new way to start planning. How crucial is planning to be building wealth?
I think that's very, very important, especially for a business and stuff, or even just a personal one also, is that, like with my clients that are like my retainer clients, I look at everything every month, and then we do a quarterly thing, and we look at it and see, okay, this is how much has come in, and what do you want to put over here? What do you want to put over here? And
do you think
then
there
we
should
give
be
different
multiple
options.
places that people
Yes.
should be? Yeah. What are
Yeah.
the, so for a woman, if you as a woman and probably working with a lot of women, I've always been told you should have 5 accounts, even from a bank perspective, and that money is constantly moving. From a CPA, financial planning, business perspective, what are some of the areas that women should be thinking about putting money on a regular basis? Is that a fair question to ask?
Yes, it is. I think it's usually I start with like 3. It depends on the person and how much they have. Like if
Yes,
somebody
yes.
just has a certain amount, like if somebody just came in and they only had 25,000, we might just put them in a personal account.
Got it.
And I'd put that over there. And then I would do something like an IRA or a SEP. If you guys don't know what a SEP is, that's for if you have a business. And then if you have payroll, and I'll make this very simple. Let's
Yes.
say that you make 100,000, because that's just an easy number for payroll or whatever.
Right.
Then you could take 25% of that for your SEP. So you would still have your payroll, and then you'd have like 25,000 in your SIP. So a SIP is just a retirement account, okay? But it's
Got
only
it.
for businesses. Yeah, and it's not like a 401k. A 401k comes out of your payroll, but the SEP gives you more. Like if you
Got it.
if you had a lot of payroll, like 250, then you'd have a bunch of money in your SEP right there. But what's good is you get to decide, So then we have the SEP, which is a deduction. It's a complete deduction on your business return. So that's really good. And then you'll have a personal one, so that if something happens and you don't have the money for it and you need to bring something out, you try not to bring it out. But sometimes if, like, let's just say that you had to get some tires and you didn't have the money right there, just take a little bit of money out. So there you have that. And another thing is you can also do an IRA also, with a SEP. And especially with the Roth, because you don't have to pay for that at all. So you can start like some of these, like a bigger thing over here, and then do this over here with your business, and then you can do an IRA, which is normally just $6,000 a year. So you kind of have to just do that every year, until it gets to a bigger number.
So what about the women? Because there are probably more women who may not have had the forethought to actually create this or have the money. What about the woman who's like, I'm just starting off in business. I hadn't been thinking about anything like this. What should I be doing? Should I hire? Is it time for me to even work with a CPA? Should I maybe work with a financial planner first? Should I do a combination of the two? What should I be doing to get myself to a place where I can be more financially secure?
If somebody comes to me that's like smaller or new, then I just start with them like doing a consult. I'd probably be on a Zoom right now, because I have clients out of state anyway, and I would just ask them a lot of questions and what they want and what their goals are going to be, and I can usually do that in like an hour. And typically when I do that, and sometimes it's even just a half an hour, it just depends on the client. But whenever we're done with that, they're really, really happy. And I was just talking to someone the other day, one of my clients that's fairly new, and we were talking about that. I'm not going to say anything about what she does, but we were talking about it because of the corona, and basically, and this would apply to anybody, that you have to start when, like, if you're in a situation, anybody here, right, is in this situation where like they're not getting enough money and stuff, then you have to start it's best to go to Facebook or Instagram, or maybe not Instagram, that's probably not best for that, but LinkedIn or something, keep yourself ahead of everyone, just like what you're doing. I mean, look what you're doing, it's like there may be some things that you can't do right now, but then you've replaced it, for now, and then people are going to remember that, Yeah.
And that's one of the things, that's actually one of the things that we're trying to do right now, is to say, this is actually the perfect time to maybe take a step back and reassess your business, and maybe thinking, I haven't been hitting all the different areas or business models to help me continue to have multiple streams of income. Because you said something that I paid attention to, and hopefully all of you did too as well, at the very beginning of the call, that, multimillionaires and billionaires or 7 or 8 figure individuals have multiple streams of income coming in. They've got multiple places, because that's what the wealthy think of, and we need to start changing our mindset. So can we back up a little bit and talk about, because I know you did a lot of study on the brain and on the mind when it comes to wealth. Could you talk a bit about that? Like, what is the top thing that we need to know to help us start to shift our mind and focus on creating multiple streams of income or building wealth, either one?
Yes, absolutely. Your brain is always listening to you, okay?
Yes.
So we think of the brain as a different organ or whatever like that, but basically when you talk to yourself, because we all do, right?
Yes.
We talk to ourselves. I do it all the time in the mirror.
I do too.
What am I going to do today? Blah, 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 So basically,
I get the best answers that way too.
Yeah, it's listening to you. So let's say like the both sides. Like if you're, so you have a really good, as far as I know, mindset. Okay.
Yes.
So like if you can't do this, you're going to go over here and do
Yeah, I'm gonna
this,
figure out another one.
something like this. So probably most of the time, what you want, you probably get, it's like
90% of the time, yeah.
but then you always have like a friend or a client or whatever that's just always negative. And then everything is negative. And it's funny because, and this even with guys that I work with and stuff, sometimes it's them, doing that.
Yeah.
And then what happens is your brain, because it's listening to you and you're constantly saying, this is bad, this is stupid, this is dumb, then you'll never see what you could see, something that could be available for you that you would enjoy,
So true.
and you'll never see it because your brain, again, is just an organ. It's not a being necessarily. So it's going to push you over here because that's where you're at. That's where you're at.
It's kind of a muscle, believe it or not.
Yes.
I don't know if a lot of people understand this, but your brain is a muscle, and you are actually training it where to, and I love that analogy.
Yes.
You're training it by what it's listening to focus either I'm broke, I'm fearful, I'm anxious, I'm overwhelmed, I can't do it, or my brain is conditioned to go, okay, I'll get over that mountain too.
Well, and also on the book, when I was working with the neuroscientist, she had this, I love this story. She says it way better than me, so I'll just kind of make it short. But her daughter, and I can't remember if she was 12 or whatever age, but she had a party, and the mom made these things, let's see, like it was a pizza, and it looked like it had mold. And she did a bunch of stuff that looked disgusting, and it wasn't. It was actually made of something that was delicious.
Yes.
And these kids started throwing up. Okay, so that's like a brain thing. Like it was, the food was amazing, but she made it look that way, and she did it on purpose. And so it's like, it probably went more than she thought it was going to.
Right.
But when somebody tells you something, like, and especially right now where we are, everybody's saying, oh, this and this and this and that. Then instead of listening to those people, listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. Or
if anything, this is so powerful, and I love this because you're confirming how powerful being a part of the right community, being a part of the right programs, being in the right mastermind is so crucial to helping you restructure your neurological pathways. So basically, from a brain-based perspective, because I love the brain, and I should have probably been a neurologist myself, to be honest with you, how the brain works. But basically, for a woman's brain, our brain is actually connected. So that little line down the middle, there's a medical term for it, and I never say it right, but our brain, both left side and right side, right hemispheres are connected, which basically means we're using more of our brain. And so it's paying a lot more attention from what we hear, from what we say, and from what our emotions. Through us is affecting the neurological pathways and the synapses and the chemicals that are running through our brain at like 20,000 times more than a man's brain. And so being in the right environment where you're hearing the right thing over and over again is going to help reshape and actually redefine the density of how your brain works.
I love that.
So I should have been a neurologist.
You still could be,
No, I'm done with school.
That's one of the things that we don't want to have to go back to school.
I got enough degrees under my name. I don't need any more. I'll probably always keep learning about it. So I really appreciate what you have shared. So Holly, we're coming down to the end of our show. I'd love for everyone to know how to connect to you. And would you talk a little bit first about your book and how they can get a hold of the book and how they can get a hold of the book?
Is that backwards? You never know on Zoom.
Actually, it's perfect.
Oh, okay. And it's on Amazon, and it's an easy read. It's an easy read. I did it on purpose. The first book that I did, I think I overthought. I think most people do the first time.
Most authors do.
This one, I was talking like I was talking to my best friend, and I wanted it to be very, very clear because there is in there where I lost a ton of money, and how I got out of that. Okay.
Yes.
And it really was a lot of just deciding that, you know what, I'm gonna get up off my feet, and I'm going to just make these payments. It's gonna
Yes.
take a while. It's gonna take a while, but every year it's gonna be better and better. And
Right.
then and because I allowed myself to do that, and not like be hating myself, a lot of incredible things happened.
Yes.
Especially with the financial planning and stuff, we would get so many commissions and stuff, and all my clients were happy with it. It was really nice, and it was like, and I had lost my car at the time, and I mean, and you know, think about me, I'm a CPA, so to lose a big amount like that, I was like, I kind of didn't know who I was for a minute, you know.
Right.
But
right.
I realized that I couldn't stay that way.
Yes.
And that could help a lot of people right now, because some of these people, they're really scared. They're really scared.
Say the title, because you kind of showed it.
Yeah.
But say the title so they can see it.
It's The Secret to Wealth.
Yes.
And the rest of it's just about your money story. It's your money story, you know? Yeah.
So I will have a link and upload it as a part of the episode, so all of you can get the book. I have the book. It is a great read. It is an easy read, which is one of the reasons why she stayed on my mind for so long. So I'm definitely going to interview her for the TV show and the radio show. And Holly, thank you so much for spending time with me and having a really powerful conversation on what to develop wealth for ourselves. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to have this time with you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, everybody. I definitely want you to continue to have much success in your personal life and in your business. Thank you. Remember that you are enough. You always have been. You always will be. God bless.
All right.